Hi, I'm going to talk you about the Hollywood Tower. The Hollywood Tower Hotel was a 12-story tower built within view of the famous Hollywood sign in the Hollywood Hills. It was a typical upscale 30s hotel with bold geometric shapes and a slightly southwestern design. The top floor housed a first-class restaurant and dance hall called the Tip Top Club. Today, it looks just as it did the fateful night the hotel closed its doors, with luggage left on rolling car, maid stealing room slots, and the unfinished card game resting on a table in the lobby. The victims. Five people, all from very different social backgrounds, got on the elevator that night. Sally Shine was a child star with more than 20 short films to her name. Emily was Sally's nanny. She was very protective and her shades, keeping fans at bay. Caroline Crosson was a glamorous aspiring actress, with Gilbert London was one of her many male admirers. Finally, the unlikely last victim, DeWitt Todd Jr., although his father built the Hollywood Tower Hotel, the junior DeWitt worked as a bellhop, perhaps to work his way up in the father's business. The incident. On Halloween night in 1939, the main elevators were out of order. Five people boarded a maintenance elevator in the Tip Top Club, bound for lower floors. At some time during the short ride, lightning hit the hotel just when the elevator shaft was located, causing the elevator to plunge down uncontrollably. All the occupants of the elevator were killed on impact. Hotel management removed the barriers in secret to avoid the prying eyes of reporters, and they were taught sir immediately closed the doors of the hotel. It is said that the ghosts of all five passengers still haunt the property to this day.
Hi, I'm going to talk about the Slender Man. This myth is going around the internet since 2009 about a creature called Slenderman. The myth goes that he's a creature without face, wears a black suit, and he has large and thin arms. He hides in forests and feeds on children. When he catches his victims, if they see his face, they can't look away or run away, and obviously they die. One sign that Slenderman is beginning to go to his victims is that children began to have nightmares about him. How I said before, this is a made up creature on a forum, but stories about him have been told in a lot of countries. We don't know if this is real or fake, but one day a boy decided to begin to find more information about it. And somehow, on the first day of learning about him, they began to feel ill and vomit that day. He said that this might be just a coincidence, but lately they didn't know. In the actually, he has a lot of doubts.
Hello, I'm Javi, and I'm going to talk to you about the legend of the Loch Ness Monster who lives in Scotland. An old legend tells that a missionary was the first person in to give faith of his encounter with the monster, nicknamed Nessie. Since that moment, thousands of people discuss surprise their views on him. For example, there are people who believe that they have seen strange shapes from the castle Arcujar, which is one on the edge of the lake. In 1930, the newspaper Northern Chronicle published a new title, An Strange Experience in the Loch Ness, in which we can understand the history of two fishermen who refers to an animal that provoked a powerful swirl around the third point. Despite that it exists some picture of Nessie, there isn't any obvious photo to demonstrate the life of the Scotland's sea beast. However, there are a lot of witnesses of his appearance, but on the contrary, nobody have commented an attack to them. Besides, the Assumption's pack will have to devour big tons of fish, but it isn't this quantity in the lake. The rumors of the Nessie's life are hidden for 1,500 years ago, and it is held in favor of Scotland's interest for promoting the tourism and for encouraging the national folklore.
Hello, I'm going to talk about Pompeia Island. At the beginning of the 14th century, the bubonic epidemic killed most of his victims in less than 4 days. The city of Venice suffered this disease. People started dying, and the smell was getting so worse each day, so they decided to move the bodies to Pompeia Island. Soon it was decided to use the island as a quarantine zone. Right after this, things in the island turned darker. People with symptoms were took away from their families and they were abandoned in Pompeia. They let them die alone and surrounded by thousands of cadavers. It was easy to hear the last cries and screams for people that were about to die. In 1800, it was decided to build a hospital for mental patients. It is said that they started to have terrible visions of cadavers and ghosts from the epidemic. In the 1920s, a doctor from the hospital that wanted to become famous started experimenting with the patients, trying horrible and disgusting tortures on them. Soon, he started having visions as well of ghosts from the past and from people that he had killed himself. The experiences were so scary and intense, so he decided to commit suicide from the bell tower of the hospital. But the legend says that the doctor survived the fall, but that a mysterious fog rised from the ground of Pompeia and killed him.